Alright, so earlier today we got a new teaser for Daryl Dixon Season 3, and in today's video I'm just going to be breaking it down, my thoughts about it, some theories and speculation, and some potential connection to Rick Grimes in this season, so please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. And now, following the finale of Dead City Season 2, like AMC always does, they released a new teaser for the next spin-off. In this case, it's Daryl Dixon Season 3. And first of all, I want to get into the Dead City Season 2 finale. In my opinion, it was pretty good, right? And they did a good job at setting up Season 3 where Negan and Maggie, they have to work together and they're on good terms now. And they have to save Herschel from the Dama. And of course, the Croat will show up and stuff like that. So yeah, I am very excited for Dead City Season 3. As critical as I was about Dead City Season 1 and also the start and the premiere of Dead City Season 2, I think they're going in the right direction when it comes to these spin-offs. Yes, I have some issues with Daryl Dixon Season 2, and I hope those issues are addressed in Daryl Dixon Season 3. And of course, you can see that they're working on it by making the spin-offs a little longer. Now, we don't know how many episodes does Daryl Dixon Season 3 have, right? I'm not sure if they announced that yet, but Dead City Season 2 had 8 episodes instead of 6, and that was a huge criticism from the fan base that these spin-offs feel too short. So yeah, you know, they extended it by 2 episodes, and I hope that Daryl Dixon Season 3 at least has 9 or 10 episodes, right? It feels like a full season. It feels like just one large season of The Walking Dead, like how it used to be. But of course, having more episodes in a season doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, right? And that was another criticism I had of Dead City Season 2. Yes, the storytelling was way better than Season 1, and it doesn't feel as dragged out as the other spin-offs did, right? But it still leaves that room of, yeah, you know, this could drag out and this could be boring. And Dead City Season 2, I believe they tried their best and not making it feel like that, right? They did not make one character the center point, right? Both Negan and Maggie were the center points of the story, and also the Croat had some really good moments, the Dama had really good moments as well, and they did some very good setup with Herschel. And now I want to get into the teaser of Daryl Dixon Season 3. First of all, the release date, right? It's September the 7th, and I guess we all expected that, right? Because Daryl Dixon always premieres in the fall, right? And Dead City's always a summer thing. So yeah, it makes sense that they're gonna choose September, October, or November for Daryl Dixon, and I'm pretty happy that they chose September because it's closer that way and we don't have to wait that long. And when it comes to a full-on trailer, right, and I want to get this out of the way first, because San Diego Comic-Con is happening in a full month, I believe we're going to get a full trailer for Daryl Dixon Season 3 at San Diego Comic-Con, and a potential announcement for Season 4 at Comic-Con as well, and also Season 3 of Dead City will be announced there. And I want to get into the teaser because this thing is not really that long, right? It's actually 36 seconds long, so there's really not much to dissect here, but it is a new look at this show. Now, of course, we do see a community in this teaser, and we're not sure what this community is called yet, but it does seem like that they're celebrating a festival. Now, I did research some festivals that happen in Spain, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, so I'll be putting it up on the screen what I think this festival is. And it seems like that these people are having a good time, and you know, that's one thing about Daryl Dixon, like in general, right? The first 2 seasons, it felt like a France TV show, right? And it really did capture that feeling of France, and it looks like that they're doing the same thing with Daryl Dixon Season 3, right? You know, they're really getting that feel of Spain in, but also I'm getting a little bit of a feel of kind of like a cowboy type of movie, right? With all the horses and the desert and stuff like that. So, which it does seem very cool. And yet again, like how I said before, this teaser is not that long, but we do see some interesting stuff, such as a new character, right? You know, she's talking about when the world fell, she lost all hope, and then later on in the trailer, we do see Daryl saying that I had a friend who used to say bet on hope, and a lot of people I've seen on Twitter and some other content creators, right, you know, they're saying that this is a Rick Grimes Easter egg, but this is not a Rick Grimes Easter egg, right? And at first when I saw the trailer, I thought it would have been something related to Rick Grimes, but then I did a little bit of research, and of course I found out online that Sister Isabel said this line, "To bet on hope to Daryl," in season 1 or season 2. So yeah, this is not a Rick Grimes Easter egg, but you know, it got all of us on the edge of our seats. So I do hope that there are some mentions to Rick Grimes in this season, and with them correcting their mistakes from the other seasons of these spin-offs, I think we will actually get some sort of Rick Grimes Easter egg or some sort of mention of Rick Grimes in this show, but I don't think he's going to be showing up full on, and that's what we thought in Dead City Season 2. We thought that Rick was going to show up somehow because timeline-wise that does make sense, but again, we didn't see Rick nor Dwight. And actually last night before the finale, I was working on a video, you know, discussing if Rick Grimes could show up in the finale of Dead City, but then on time, the finale premiered, so I watched that, and of course, my hopes were crushed in that moment. And then we get some more scenes of an unknown community, right? And they look like some sort of raiders or just like the main villains of this show, and they are, you know, by the looks of it, it looks like that this place where they're doing the festival is on fire, right? Some places are on fire, and then this community comes and they kill the walkers. It's kind of like a Codron in season 1 and season 2 of Daryl Dixon. So yeah, we have to see more of that, and we do get some other scenes of Carol potentially in a romantic relationship with possibly the main villain of this show, so we have to see from there, but I don't see Carol going into any sort of relationship in this show, but it is interesting that they're teasing something like that. And yeah, there's not much to dissect from this teaser. There's really not much to break down, other than, you know, this seems even better than season 2, right? You know, season 3, it has that look and feel it's like it's something fresh, right? And I like the camera work, right? I love the scenery. I love that, you know, it's a new story, right? And they did say this in the trailer. It is written that, yeah, you know, it is a new beginning, it's a new story. So all the things with Laurent and all of those other characters from Daryl Dixon season 1 and season 2, and in my opinion, Laurent was a very annoying character in season 1 and season 2. So it is way better that they're focusing on Daryl and Carol in this season, and it seems like a confined story for Daryl and Carol, and it's about their character development. And I said the same thing about Dead City season 2, right? Negan and Maggie, they had an equal amount of screen time, and these new characters are not taking up too much space. And with them taking Laurent out, right, he's, by the looks of it, he's not in this season whatsoever. And of course, they're going to be introducing new characters, but the heart of the story is Daryl and Carol, right? They don't have a MacGuffin, right? And Laurent was that MacGuffin of season 1 and season 2. And by the looks of it, I think that they're trying to make their way back to America. So yet again, like how I said before, they're going in the right direction, right? For this season, and also for Dead City season 2, and also potentially Dead City season 3, it seems like that they're going in the right direction. And when it comes to Rick Grimes, right, I think that is the thing that everybody is looking forward to. I think we might actually get some sort of mention to Rick Grimes in this season, right? And a lot of people are theorizing that Rick's brother could show up in season 3 of Daryl Dixon. And in the comics, we do see Rick's brother, right? They had their own like special issue for Rick's brother in the comics, and he was in Spain, right? He was stranded in Spain, and he went off going to look for Rick. So I think they might do something with that, and I think Daryl might actually run into Rick's brother, right? Maybe they might reveal it at the end of the season, and if they're making a season 4 for Daryl Dixon. Now, we don't know if season 4 is going to be taking place in Spain as well, or if they're going to go somewhere else for season 4 of Daryl Dixon, but it is a very good premise that if at the end of season 3, right, they figure out that the American in Spain actually turns out being Rick's brother, and then season 4 is all about Rick's brother, Daryl and Carol. I think that that'd be very interesting. But yeah, personally, I think that they should start mentioning Rick Grimes in these spin-offs, and I think that Daryl Dixon season 3 is the best place to do it. Yes, timeline wise, Dead City makes sense because it's the most recent in the timeline, and by that time Rick is already back home. But when you talk about, like, you know, having a deeper connection, right, a character that has a very deep connection to Rick, it is Daryl. And if they're going down that route of going back home, they should start name dropping Rick. And I think that that is a huge complaint, probably like the biggest complaint about these spin-offs, is that it does not feel like a universe. And I've said it a lot in my other videos that these spin-offs don't make the Walking Dead universe feel like an actual living universe, right? You have other characters mentioned or other characters showing up, right? Like characters from other spin-offs showing up in some other spin-offs. You don't have that situation, and I know that these spin-offs are still fairly fresh, but by the time that these new seasons come out, right, it seems very dragged out, and it seems that the wait is too long, and we're always having our hopes and expectations up, but we're always very, very disappointed. But I do believe that that is going to change, right? Like how they address the issue of the seasons feeling shorter. I think that this is going to be one of those things that they're going to address, that they're going to show Rick Grimes once again, and also with him not dying and them always teasing that, yeah, you know, we do have a plan for Rick in the future and we might do something with him. I think that this is the perfect place to do it, right? And I hope that we do get a scene with Rick, right? I don't think a reunion is gonna happen, right? And Norman Reedus did actually have an interview a week ago for the Ballerina movie, and I believe Brandon Davis did his interview. It was a very short interview, and he was asked the question if him and Andrew Lincoln are going to reunite in the Walking Dead universe, and it seemed like that Norman Reedus didn't really have much to say, right? It seemed like he was hiding something, but he did say maybe, right? And that is something that he wants to do. So yeah, like, you know, you could be expecting a Daryl and Rick reunion, but probably not anytime in the future. But if we were to get a scene in Daryl Dixon Season 3 regarding Rick Grimes, like if we do get a scene of Rick Grimes in Daryl Dixon Season 3, I think that's much more possible now than ever, because now they're starting something new with these spin-offs, and they could very well start connecting them together, and we could possibly get our setup to the big crossover spin-off. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.